Our next topic, we asked you at home to vote on the Twitter. Does DeAndre Jordan deserve to be an All-Star? Here are the results. 66% of you say he does. 34% say no. We leave it there. Hopefully they can hear us at the NBA. From an All-Star snub to All-Stars. Last week, the Hawks climbed back to the top of the NBA standings after beating the Warriors. But last night, the Hawks fell to the Celtics 89-88. The Warriors, on the other hand, beat the Timberwolves 94-91 last night and reached the All-Star break with the NBA's best record.
It's a weird situation going on with how we're playing, but we're still winning. We're not playing to our standards, but we're finding ways to get it done. We got to be better once we get back from this break. So, if next Friday we're not, locked in and playing at our highest potential, then we should worry.
All right, so both teams, we're talking Hawks and Warriors, are still the top two teams in the NBA by record, leading their respective conferences by a good margin. So as both teams continue their playoff push, would you have any concerns about the Warriors or about the Hawks, Stephen A?
Well, I have concerns about both teams, more so the Hawks than the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors have won 6 of their last 7 games. The only game they've lost in the last couple of weeks or so, I was at Friday when they lost to Atlanta. Atlanta played a good game, played a complete basketball game, spread the floor, got the ball in the hands of people that needed to have the ball, played very unselfishly, doing what they're basically doing, emulating the San Antonio Spurs. But it comes down to Andrew Bogut and David Lee. They need to give you something. If they don't give you something, you go to state, you're not going anywhere. But at least you have the nucleus of your team in place in Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. These are 2 all-stars that are big time. They're the best shooting backcourt in NBA history as far as I'm concerned. They're going to be there. But no matter what they do, you're not going to beat the elite teams come playoff time if your big boys don't give you some kind of big boy presence. Bogut's got to be on the court. Credibility is about availability. If you ain't around, then I can't rely on you. And that's really the bottom line. And if he's defending, he's on the lineup, he's rebounding and defending, that's a big plus for Golden State. Atlanta, it doesn't matter to me what I see. They're 3-3 right now in their last 6 games. We understand that. We thought that this inevitably would come. They're a very good basketball team. Budenholzer has been phenomenal. These guys deserve all the credit that they've been given, even though some folks in Atlanta who were harassing me Friday night after the game when I was trying to do my sports and hits talking about you arrived. We'll see. I tried to tell you. Because here's the bottom line, Skip. Who do you have to give the ball to when money time arrives? Who is there for you, like we were talking about with Magic Johnson, when all else fails, to give the ball to and say, take me to the promised land? Yep. You don't have that individual in Atlanta. Atlanta needs a star, a go-to guy, just a go-to guy, essentially. They don't have that, which is why I think when all is said and done, they'll still be on the outside looking in before the conference finals even arrives.
So you attended that game last Friday night. It counted.
Yes.
It's huge. It was, as regular season games go, it was a pretty big deal.
And I give the fans credit. It was not an empty seat in the house. It wasn't an available parking spot.
Good for them.
I mean, it was packed. It was a buzz going on in the city of Atlanta. I was driving the streets of Atlanta going to the game, Skip. There were traffic jams. People were going to the game. Yeah. I've never experienced that in all my years of covering the Atlanta Hawks. I've never seen it.
So it felt like a playoff game, right? East versus West, 1 versus 1. And the Atlanta Hawks at home outshot, outgunned the Golden State Warriors. Yes. Good for them. They did it mostly from the free throw line, to tell you the truth. But the point is, then they did what a newcomer to the top of the standings is prone to do. I think they took their foot off the gas. They saw All-Star break coming, and they said, we got 3 games. We can win these games pretty easily. And they dropped 2 out of 3. And last night they were up 14 at Boston with 7:20 to go, and they got outscored down the stretch 24-9 because of what Magic said, and you just reiterated. Somebody has to take over and say no. I thought that would be Jeff Teague. He could not do that last night, and he missed the last shot that they took that could have been.
With Avery Bradley and those boys defending him, that wasn't going to happen.
It's tough. Yeah. But again, it goes to the last shot, and Evan Turner makes a hellacious good shot. Okay, so is there any shame in that? No real shame. But this team is going to have to continue to figure out how to win without huge superstars that you can look to say, you do it, you take us home, because I don't think you need those superstars to win. You need, as a team, it's got to be somebody's night, and last night it was nobody's night in the fourth quarter. So I don't know. I fear for them a little bit, because remember, last year they finished, what was it, 38-44 and made the 8th spot in the playoffs, and everybody laughed at them until they took Indiana in round 1 to 7 games. And we said, uh-oh, maybe here come the Hawks. And this year they really came all the way to the top. But are they going to hold on to a 6.5 game lead down the stretch? I doubt that in the Eastern Conference.
I think they're going to be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the Eastern Conference come playoff time, maybe even the #1 seed. I think it's going to mean something against other teams, because Atlanta is really, based on what I saw Friday, that could potentially be a real home court advantage, which I've never said about Atlanta before, because you got folks migrating to Atlanta all the time, and they usually come to the games to root for the opposition.
Sure.
Now, they're coming to root for the Atlanta Hawks now. And so it makes for a really, really good home court advantage, but it's not going to matter against a Cleveland. It's not going to matter against a Cleveland, and that's what I'm looking at right now, so we'll see.
So remember, these 2 teams ranked 1-1 in their conferences, also ranked 1 and 2 in three-point shooting in the NBA. They live and they die a little bit too much at times by the three-point shot, especially Golden State. They sort of thrive off Clay or Steph or both getting crazy hot, right? I get you about Bogut. I get you about David Lee. That's nuts and bolts stuff. That's meat and potatoes. But they thrive off the 3. So I loved what Steph said, because he said, if next Friday night we're not locked in at our highest potential, ... Well, guess who that would be against?
Oh,
that happens to be the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah.
So he knows what time it is. They're going to have to take it up another level, because they have barely been beating opponents who are inferior. And all of a sudden, that will change.
All right, Stephen A., one quick question. You said the Hawks have potential to have a home field advantage.
Home court,
Home court advantage because of what you saw last week. Who would go further in the playoffs right now? And if you had to guess, Hawks or Warriors?
It all depends on matchups. I can't say that yet, because the Western Conference, it would depend on who Golden State goes up against. I mean, what if the Spurs ended up being the 8th seed and Golden State ended up being #1? I'm not picking the Golden State Warriors to beat the Spurs.
All right.
I'm not doing that. What if Atlanta, if you're looking at Atlanta, okay, I would say, if I had to bet, I would say Atlanta by default, because it's the Eastern Conference.
I agree.
All right. Atlanta by default, gentlemen. Moving on. This isn't by default. It's Deflategate. Someone asked Bill Belichick about Deflategate. David Letterman it was. He was looking for a good piece of journalism. Let's listen.
You know exactly what happened. I know you know exactly what happened. You know I know you know. And what it was some kind of horseplay. Am I right?
No.